They've got 3 quarterbacks that can play. You know, one big kid transferred from TCU who's more of a thrower. They got another guy who played a lot for him last year when he got hurt, and he's a little bit of a dual threat guy. And then they got a transfer from Texas who was a non-scholarship player at Texas, but had obviously put himself in contention maybe to have even earned a scholarship there, and felt like it was the best opportunity for him to move on. And I'm quite sure they're going to have a package for him. It sounds like, reading up on their scrimmages and things from training camp, he's a little bit of a dual threat, athletic guy. It's hard to say in some cases because you see a lot of transfers and junior college transfers, on the roster. So maybe some of the players are players that we haven't seen, but we certainly, respect, their offensive capabilities, and we respect their scheme. Last year, a guy named Gary Croton was their offensive coordinator. He's a really good offensive coordinator. He'd worked with Coach Conk at Louisiana Tech, and they developed a really neat offense. And the guy who's calling the plays now obviously had worked with him last year and also has some experience. He was a graduate assistant at one point at Baylor. So like any opening game, it has nothing to do with the opponent. It has to do a little bit more with us than what it does them, because they could really come out and do just about anything. And we just got to follow our rules, get aligned, read our keys, communicate, read our keys, run the ball and tackle. And I think all opening games are about 3 things. And I think they're about ball security, tackling, and special teams. I think if you watch opening games, that's what really happens a lot. The team that protects the ball the best, the team that tackles the best, because you haven't practiced it a significant amount in special teams, because it's the first time probably in many cases you've gone live.
With Chris Rayford taking more reps at safety now instead of cornerback, what has he shown you, and how is he taking that adjustment?
Yeah, he's just a good football player. He's played corner here. He's probably played some nickel at some point or another. A defensive back's a defensive back. A lot of skill sets are the same, and we felt like he was one of our best in the group of 8 or 9, and to develop our depth to the best of our ability, felt it was in our best interest to move him to safety pretty much full time now. And he's going to play a lot Saturday, and it gives us some flexibility because he can play safety and corner. Abram can play safety and nickel. There's other guys that can do a lot of different things too. Landrews plays the nickel and what we call the cheetah. Abram can play the cheetah. So now it gives us some flexibility with regard to matchups and things like that. Maybe not necessarily in this game, but in future games.
Is there a technical adjustment that needs to be made there, like physically?
Oh, yeah. Just a different alignment, different keys and reads. Corner, as the position name would indicate, plays more outside in, and safety plays more from over the top. But he's got the skill set to be a good safety or corner. And he's mature. That's what I kind of like about him. John and Mark are mature players. Stephen Adegoke is a mature player in our room, and he brings another mature person to the safety room.
What's the mental challenge there, seeing opposing offense from a very different vantage point?
I think corners, generally speaking, are kind of on an island and do whatever the safety tells them to do to their side, and safeties are the ones who have to tell them what to do. So I think he has to identify he has to get the call, identify the formation, identify his side, and communicate to the nickel and the corner exactly the technique they're playing on that particular play. So I think that's probably somewhat been an adjustment to him.
You said last week that Stephen F. Austin had some similarities to what Mississippi State runs. In what way do you see the similarities?
Same personnel groupings. We, again, like I said, in any opening game, you don't want to get caught with your pants down. But we've watched we watched every game from last year. So our offense is predominantly an 11 personnel team, but they come out in a lot of 10 formation sets. If you look at them in the depth chart they released, it's primarily an 11 and a 10 depth chart. But they have the tight end back who was injured most of last year. They have one of the top junior college tight ends and a tight end transfer from Fresno State. So clearly we think they might be able to come out in 12 personnel. They've got a transfer running back from Memphis and a transfer running back from Boise, and they got a freshman running back who's torn it up during camp. So they may be able to come out in 20 personnel, 2 backs and 3 wides. The strength of the team, in my opinion, is the wide receiver group. I think they're big and athletic and all catch the ball well. 5, 80, and 2, and 82 are the guys that they really like a lot. They all catch it. I know 2. He transferred from Texas A&M, and when I was at another place, we played against him a couple years ago. He's a big, long guy. I don't know necessarily that they have tremendous speed, but they all catch the ball well. They catch the 50-50 balls, and they have the ability to run after the catch.
Do you think that this group of wide receivers here has given your safeties and your corners the kind of work to get the experience they need to go against?
Not just again. Yeah, I think so. I think Joe's offense by nature stresses the defense to a max because of the RPO combinations. I mean, if you decide if you make the commitment to load up the box, then the nature of an RPO means within the framework of every play there's a run and a pass option. So you have to pick your poison a little bit, and not just the receivers, but the tight ends, the running backs, and the quarterbacks had a really good camp. And as I said, I think the last time we spoke, I think there was really a lot of give and take, and that's the nature of the game in 2018. There's some things that Joe's offense doesn't present or didn't present in training camp that we've had to prepare for, other personnel groupings and maybe some different things that we just don't do, and that's our responsibility to prepare our guys for those things.